generation. We love repetition.
Upgrade generation. We love repetition. Upgrade generation. We love repetition. Upgrade generation.
Hello, welcome to Pattern Club Radio. We've just been listening to Hello Cat Food, an excerpt from Solstice Stream December 2023, which can be found on the Oiler Room YouTube channel. My name's Lucy. I'm here tonight with Alex.
Hello, I'm Alex.
And we've got Ray on tech, looking after all the levels for us.
Hello.
So how are you, Alex, this evening?
I'm excited, yeah. Just nice to think about the last few weeks we've enjoyed here in the Pattern Club lab, including with Hello Cat Food, also known as Antonio Roberts. We had a nice winter school with people exploring different kinds of patterns over 4 workshops and an extra session where we were sharing stuff, looking at different kinds of patterns in life and in computer. And actually, we finished it off with Antonio. He's a great teacher. It was a really high energy end to the winter school. And he showed us, first of all, some analog patterns using his video synthesis setup. It's a modular system.
Yeah, it's like if you're familiar with sort of a modular synth for audio, it's the exact same principle, but using to generate visual output. So you can have different sources. I think you can use like a video input source, but Antonio was showing us kind of a raw sort of signal generation technique.
Yeah. And if you're not familiar with modular synthesis, it's basically like these boxes in a big box with loads of wires connecting them. So each one is doing something usually quite simple, but when you have this nest of wires, then...
Exactly. Yeah. So it may be like an oscillator that creates a sine wave, and then you might have another oscillator that would modulate that sine wave, then you might have a filter and blah, 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 and it eventually outputs some sound. But the idea is that it's completely flexible and you can kind of almost redesign your synthesizer on the fly.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting. So there are smaller numbers of people doing this for visuals, and Antonio is one of them. So he talked us through his kind of hardware setup, which is like, I have to say, really mind-boggling for me. My brain, like thinking about images in that way, was struggling. And then showed us a really lovely piece of technology called Hydra, which is a browser-based coding environment for generating visuals and works in a lot of the same way. So it starts from this kind of signal processing approach. And Hydra was built by friend of the show, Olivia Jack.
Yeah,
who
shout out to Olivia.
Is an amazing artist and technologist who does loads and loads of really cool stuff. Would recommend you check out their work.
Yes, it's amazing. And yeah, the same principle as video synthesis. I think a big part of what Antonio was showing us was feedback. Like that thing when you point a camera at a screen showing its own output, then it feeds back on itself and you get weird fractals just appear out of nothing.
Yeah, or if you have 2 mirrors opposite one another, or not quite opposite one another as well, you get similar techniques. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Plus, if you change it each iteration, then you get all kinds of... Yeah, it was amazing. If you go to patternclub.org, you can see a blog post, a very short blog post about it, but we had someone making a film about it, so we'll that was Eva, I can't remember their surname. I don't know Eva's last name.
Yeah,
we're looking at Ray because they know Eva better than us, but anyway, we can't remember her last name.
She's amazing and it's going to be great. Keep an eye out on Pattern Club for that.
And we'll be lucky enough at some point, we think, to have Antonio as a guest on the show.
Yes, absolutely, that'd be awesome.
And we'll get him to talk about his work probably much more coherently than we just have.
Yeah. Right, let's play another track.
Okay, so maybe foreshadowing some other stuff we might like to say about the winter school, I'm going to play this track by Caroline Radcliffe, it's a performance really by Caroline Radcliffe and Sarah Anglis called The Machinery, and it's clog dancing and sound some kind of electroacoustic sound recordings. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, I think you're going to hear some clog dancing. So this is like 19th century techno, just made with clogs, and then you'll probably hear some industrial machinery sounds come in. to
Yeah.
kind of give the context of where this clog dancing came from
Yeah,
in
hopefully,
Lancashire
hopefully it'll speak
Mills.
for itself.
Okay, that was Meshuggah with the song Bleed, which is a death metal or extreme metal band from Sweden. Faded in beautifully into that track from Caroline Radcliffe and Sarah Unglis. Interesting to go from one kind of sort of industrial music to another, I think.
Yeah, so I was really interested that you put Meshuggah on the playlist tonight, Alex, because when I first met you, you didn't really know anything about metal.
No.
And I remember you being quite bewildered that I started a live-coded metal band and not really knowing quite what to do with that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how you started to open your heart to heavy metal music.
I guess I've never been particularly close to it, but also never really listened to it. But yeah, it's funny, all these electronic musicians around me, like yourself, Dan Hett, and Antonia Roberts, Hello Cat Food, we talked about, all have this kind of background also in metal, so yeah, intriguing. But yeah, my son Harvey is picked up the electric guitar and got into classic metal, including some real old school, what's that band? Oh God, I can't remember anything now. But yeah, he got me into listening to more guitars, and then we ended up going to Arctangent Festival and saw Meshuggah there along with loads of other bands, and it was just like a complete onslaught of extreme music. And yeah, once you kind of start being able to listen to a new kind of music, it sort of opens up to you. It's really amazing. And Meshuggah was just incredible, actually, and also a very visual experience as well as a very sonic one. It was beautiful production, and yeah, the kicks of the and the shredding on the guitar perfectly synced to the visuals. It was really quite incredible experience.
The drummers,
blinded.
The drummers in Meshuggah is just unbelievable. Like the complexity of the rhythms and I mean, as a whole band, like the tightness of being able to play music like that, highly kind of polyrhythmic, is I just think so impressive.
Yeah, and I think I'd have no problems calling it algorithmic, because it really does push the patterns to quite an extreme. So yeah, I'd like to learn more about. Someone was telling me, maybe it was you, about their sort of creative process. But
quite interesting.
Yeah, I'd like to learn more about them.
Quite interesting. Maybe we can invite them on a show. No, imagine get Meshuggah in as guests into the Pattern Club studio. I would love that, but probably will never happen. And before that, we were listening to some clog dancing, which I thought was a nice fit with the winter school and one of the other sessions we held, which was about movement and patterns in movement and algorithmic movement. And we had the amazing Rosa Cisneros come and teach us about flamenco dance and also build some live programmable robots.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun using hot glue guns and lollipop sticks and
googly eyes,
googly eyes and servo motors controlled by a microcontroller. Made these everyone made a completely different looking robot out of craft materials, and then controlled it using the Strudel live coding software that I helped make. And it was great fun. Everyone was controlling their own robot, but then they suddenly realised they could control each other's, and then realised that they could control all of the robots in the room at once with the same algorithms. So, yeah, it was amazing. Suddenly having, was it about 15 robots or with different kinds of limbs, but somehow all following the same instructions? It was beautiful. Yeah,
and some of them were holding pens and drawing. It's also really nice creative ideas, kind of, because the week before that we'd done a music workshop using Strudel, the live coding language Strudel, and people were kind of cross-pollinating their ideas from that first workshop with music to then program how the robots were moving, and it was really nice to see all that working together. Yeah,
we'll have to get Rosa on the show as well, because she had really nice links, because we were talking about South Indian music, the rhythms there, and she was talking about flamenco and how it's strongly influenced from Indian music in terms of Roma people travelling with these practices from India to Spain, and sort of helping found this flamenco dance based on that. And yeah, she talked beautifully about the number 12 and how it's broken down in different ways in flamenco dancing. So yeah, lots of nice connections with the algorithmic pattern aspect of the course. It's great.
Yeah, we were actually talked about maybe playing some flamenco music on the show tonight. Then we realised none of us know anything about it, so we'll leave that to Rosa. Hopefully, at some point when we have one as a guest. So I think I'm going to play another track now. I went last night to a really nice, like very early evening and short gig in a record store in Bear Tree Records in Sheffield to celebrate Richard Dawson's new album, and he played this really lovely. He played it a cappella, but I think there's a little bit of drums, or at least thumping, in the version that I'm about to play. This song called "The Ghost of a Tree," which is sort of highly patterny and quite dark. Probably not the kind of thing we normally play on the show, but I've been getting a bit more interested in kind of vocal patterns in music. So not just thinking about instrumentation, but also what people do with their voice and what people do with words to emphasise patterns in music. So I'm going to play this song, "The Ghost of a Tree" by Richard Dawson.
Riding through Yorkshire, we come upon the ghost of a tree at Buttertub's Pass. Golden and green, flapping its leaves, though it is winter and there is no breeze. 7 little sparrows, pale as soldiers, hopping in amongst the curling boughs. Then comes a shout from one of our party, old Albert Bousfield's fallen down a hole. Hope upon hope, fastened to a rope, not able to ascertain how deep it goes. Albert, can you hear me? Make a sound. If you can't make a sound, then clap 2 stones. Leaving behind our friend in the lime pit, we hurry on in quiet dread into the fog, smothering the dales. The raindrops are falling like the bars of a jail. Buried in the arsehole of the world, a row of burnt-out huts, we made our beds. Lying awake, looking up through the black wooden beams, I can see the Milky Way. Comes there a scream out of the sky, a great ball of fire goes hurtling by. Everyone's awake now, what the hell is happening today? It's all so queer. Rising at dawn to find Thomas Knox will not from his sleep be summoned forth. Face like a mask, fixed in a gasp, we wrap him in blankets and we cover him with grass. Onward with our journey through Towlow and over Headley Hill past Hanging Stone. Cold on an inn to fill our bellies with dark bloody meat and sour black beer. There we were warned never to stray far from the road through Kyo Bog. Several of the children from the village disappeared last month without a trace. hours later, we go in single file through a maze of moaning soil, reeking of dung, droning of flies. The moss on the trees glows as we pass by. There is something awful alive in this place. We are most relieved to leave behind. The moon is a peach in the brown fields of Kibblesworth. It won't be long till we get home. Cramp in our guts, bile in our throats, mischief undulating through our bones. Suddenly the city lights around us, disappearing up into the clouds. 7 little sparrows, pale as soldiers, hopping in amongst the curling boughs.
So we've just been listening to Lux Aeterna by, I think you pronounce it Georgi Ligeti, but I'm probably butchering that, which is just a really nice vocal piece with lots of, I think, really interesting harmonies and kind of building different kind of layers and patterns, which I really enjoy. So again, thinking of that theme of patterny vocals and exploring that a little bit more. Also, maybe you've got some, I was going to play some Mad Film, but I'm actually probably not going to this time. Maybe next time we can have some different kind of vocal patterns. But moving on from that, Alex, I think you wanted to play some tracks that you've discovered on UbuWeb.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about UbuWeb first?
Yeah, I
Sounds
don't know
quite
too much about it, but it's like this platform for archiving avant-garde sound art and music. Got so much amazing stuff on there. You could spend days looking through it. And actually they shut down a year ago, or at least decided that it was complete, the archive. But recently have started archiving stuff again, saying that they just felt at this moment it was really important to start preserving culture with the world the way it is. But yeah, I discovered this quite a long time ago, this Cantoric page on UbuWeb. Cantoric is a ancient Highland Scottish tradition of chanting the bagpipes. And before I heard this, I didn't like listening to bagpipes. I thought it was a horrible sound.
No.
But if you listen to the Cantoric, the versions of it, it really opens it up, just like it has with extreme metal music. It helps you understand bagpipes from the point of view of articulation and the human voice, which we all share. So I'd just like to play a little bit of Cantoric. It's the Earl of Seaforth by R.U. Brown. And then we'll listen to the bagpipe version.
This tune, just note to roll each second group of notes. Your first one deliberate, and then roll the second onto the top note. Like something like this. Hyun o yel wi, hyun yel wi, hyun o yel wi, hyun yel tro, hyun ro yel ye yola ye mo.
So that was the Cantoric. I find it fascinating, like each vowel sound, each consonant vowel grouping that he was using, which you can also find written down, represents a certain way of articulating the bagpipes. I don't play the pipes myself, but it kind of gives you an insight into the kind of articulations that are going on. So let's listen to the actual bagpipes playing the same tune.
I will now play the Earl of Seaforth.
So there we go. So you can check out that on UbuWeb to hear the full.
Alex said that
Music.
was enough bagpipes. I sort of felt like it wasn't quite enough bagpipes. We'll have to agree
I guess there's
to
always
disagree.
room for more.
I wonder if our listeners can hear the piano lesson in the background. Oh, unfortunately not, apparently.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a shame. I thought it would be nice background music. There's a piano lesson happening
Yeah,
next door.
we've got some very nice neighbours in our pattern club studio, but yeah, you can't hear it
You
on
can't
the
hear
microphone.
it. I'm
unfortunately.
quite enjoying it. I feel like
Yeah.
we should have some tasteful background music when we're talking.
If you can.
Maybe you
Right
can.
in, if you can hear.
Yeah, we should have a text phone line to get some questions.
Yeah.
Maybe not
That'd
this
be
time,
good.
but at some point. So I think to round off the show, we've got 15 minutes left. We were thinking we'd go into a kind of algorave section, just to play some of our favourite live coding tracks. Just thinking what we might want to say about those. Should we start with Switch Angel?
Yeah, we've already mentioned the Strudel live coding environment. Switch Angel, also known as Jade Rose, is one of the developers of that software, and she is using that same software in this track, which is in an album called Switch Angel, and the track is You or I.
you've been listening to You or I by Switch Angel, which is on their album Switch Angel, which is available at jaderose.bandcamp.com, and really recommend giving that a listen. It's very impressive stuff, actually.
Yeah, and there's like a really nice kind of almost acoustic song finishing off at the end, believe it or not. Yeah,
lovely album.
nice vibe.
So we thought we would talk about a few upcoming things and bits of news happening in the world of live coding. So Alex, do you want to tell us a little bit about what's happening with the software Strudel that you mentioned earlier and the related tidal cycle software?
Yeah, it feels like we're coming round to new releases of this software. It's free open source, loads of new contributors joining these projects. Tidal is the one which I started when I was a student, quite a lot of years ago, and the Strudel is the like web-based version, which you can get to by strudel.cc, and Tidal is tidalcycles.org. So these are both environments for making music, pattern-based music with algorithms, but really accessible, especially Strudel, because you just open up a new web browser and there's loads of documentation just built into it, which you can play around with.
Yeah, and the tutorials, like the worksheets, are all kind of interactive, so it kind of teaches you in a way that you can just mess about with the code in the teaching environment and just try stuff out and play it and immediately hear what that sounds like, which is, I just think, such a fun and interactive way to learn. It's really it's really, really amazing. I think when I started live coding, which is like 9 or 10 years ago now, it was very much like do it yourself a lot of the time. And I think now we've got such an amazing community and tools like Strudel that just make it so much easier to jump in and get started, even if you're not the most techie person in the world. So yeah, give it a go. Strudel.cc.
Yeah. There's also noodle.cc,
Whoa.
which is nudel.cc, which is like a weird experimental front end to the multi-user flock environment.
Cool.
If you jump in there, usually in the afternoon, you'll find people centred around London live coding scene, but also from around the world, just playing together, and you can just watch them and just join in, start changing a few numbers, see what happens. And talking about the London live coding scene, I think we were going to say that, or have we already done that?
We haven't said, but they, I think we were like desperately trying to find some information quickly to share. But I know they've got loads of really amazing stuff happening in London in the live coding scene, including lots of meetups and kind of live coding open mic nights taking place, I think primarily in southeast London, in Peckham. So if you get on Google and look up Live Code London or London meetups, you will find information about those, and do go along. They've got a really lovely group of people running those, and it's a really open and fun community.
Yeah.
And
And
speaking
we're
of
talking about London a
Go
lot because, sorry.
Oh, Alex stole my segue. Obviously, we've recently moved the show to Resonance FM. We're based in Sheffield, but we know the studio is based in London. Just wanted to shout out their fundraiser at fundraiser.resonance.fm, which they need to raise crucial funds to keep the station on the air and to keep their studio up and running. So please do check that out. And if you've got any spare pennies, donate to Resonance FM. I'm sure I don't need to convince listeners of this show what a lovely thing Resonance is. And if you're only listening to this show, definitely go and check out some others as well. I think that brings us to our final track of the evening, which is another live coding track by somebody called Nesso on their album Algrave Express. And this is the track Pingui Step.